right, if you're with us online, go and get your space and equipment set up. We're going to be starting here in about the next minute. So go ahead and get set up, and we'll see you online soon. All right, welcome back to Pump. It's always funny saying you turn on the music and the talking volume. I appreciate it. You're not talking over me. That's nice. Well, welcome back to Pump. If you've never been here before, don't worry too much about the format or the equipment or the movements. I'll go over all that before we get started. A little bit about how this class runs. We'll do a 6-minute warm-up to get started, and then we're going to jump right into the workout. So the workout format for this class is we have 4 rounds total. Each round is going to consist of 2 movements that we're going to superset 4 times. What I mean by that is say, round 1, our first movements is going to be bent over rows and bicep curls. So we're going to do bent over rows for 30 seconds, right into bicep curls for 30 seconds. That's 1 set. And then we're going to go right back into those bent over rows, right into those biceps. That's the second set. And we're going to do that 4 times, and you'll get a 1-minute rest period after, and then we'll move on to round 2. And then after that, we'll do a 10-ish minute cool down and send you on your way. For today, mat and and dumbbell, which are optional. If you don't have the equipment at home, I'll give you some alternatives that you can do, so don't worry about that. But the first one we have today is making sure we're all braced, right? I like it. We're braced. Is bent over rows. So big thing with bent over rows, remember, as we push those hips back, we're dropping that chest down, okay? If you feel a lot of tightness and tension and you can't go any further, that's okay, but we're working on getting a little bit further each class to where we're getting that torso more parallel with the floor. With those bent over rows, you have the option of a high row or a low row, okay? Remembering low row, and we always have those shoulder blades backing down, okay? Low row means you're pulling those elbows back and keeping them in close to the body, okay? Flexing those lats, flexing those scapula together. High row is you're going high and wide, getting a little bit more of that rear delt engagement with those traps and those rhomboids of that upper back. Biggest thing with any movement, think what muscle am I trying to work? Am I feeling the constant tension and stretch and contraction with those movements, okay? The second movement we have is right into bicep curls. So we'll come from that straight into bicep curls. With those bicep curls, you can control which version you want. You can do supinated, so you can do your palms up. When you say supinated, just think of holding a cup of soup. That's supinated. You can have soup in your palm. But, so you can have your palms up. You can do a neutral grip, or you can do a pronated grip, which is hands down. One note is if you're doing the hands down version, you're actually working your brachioradialis out here on the outside of your arm. So feel it more on the outside versus inside the bicep, okay? Feel free to do any of those. The biggest thing with bicep curls, obviously we're in our braced position, but we want to make sure those elbows stay stationary. So when we come up, we're not letting those arms move about. And when we come up, we're going to stop just short of the top. If we come too far, instantly it's going to push those elbows out, and you're going to rest on that joint, and your muscle's not actually doing that work anymore. So we're going to stop just short of the top, and on the way back down, stop just short of the bottom, trying to keep that tension in that bicep the whole time. If you start with both arms at the same time, as you get tired, you can alternate to one and then the other. So you're still working within that, but you're doing a little bit lower intensity. The next movement we have is T-squeezes. So we're going back into that bent over position. T-squeezes where we're going to have the thumbs out, shoulder blades are staying back and down, and we're lifting and squeezing through that upper back, okay, and the scapula. If you want, you can add some weights onto your hands, but still keeping that same hand position, all right? Next movement is right into tricep extensions. For those, you can either be overhead. Remember, anytime we're overhead, make sure those scapula are pulled down and together. We're holding that strong position with the upper back. We're braced, glutes are engaged, and pay attention to where those are. We don't want one elbow out like this, so make sure they're within the same position. Or you can do those bent over kickbacks here, okay? Flexing that backside of your arm, that tricep there. Next move we're going into is goblet squat pulses. So for a pulse, we'll do a couple of these together just so you can kind of feel that range of motion we want, because we haven't done pulses yet this session. So we'll just go ahead and get into like this. Say you're going to go into a goblet squat, go down like 3 inches or so. And remember, pushing the hips back before the knees go down. This is as far up as we're ever going to come out of this position with the goblet squats. And then we're going to go down to whatever our depth is, and you don't need to go any further than 90. Then we're going to come back up, and we're going to stop wherever that just short of was spot, and then go back down, okay? That's that range of motion we're trying to stay in here. You do have the option, instead of goblet squat, which is a single weight here, you can do more of like a front squat and have 2 dumbbells and hold them up kind of around your shoulders if you want a little extra weight within that movement. The biggest thing with the squats, remember, knee staying in line with the toe. We don't want those knees caving in. Weight even on the feet. We don't want to be all the way up on our toes or way back on our heels, okay? And remember, stay braced. Next movement we're going into is HIIT The Floor. So with HIIT The Floor, and remember, it doesn't need to be speed. You can do it however you want. Start slow. You can progress as you want. With HIIT The Floor, and we'll do this one together, is we're basically just doing a deep lunge. So if I'm starting with my left leg, I'm going to kick my right leg back and behind me and drop my torso down. Biggest thing, we don't want to round that low back, okay? So if you find yourself here, either extend that leg back further, or you can have a little bit of bend in that back leg, whichever is more comfortable for you. Then you're going to come back up, swap, kick that opposite leg back and down, and you're going to tap. If tapping to the floor is difficult, you can go to the knee or the shin or the ankle. Then back to center, opposite side, opposite side. Start slow, get that rhythm down, get that routine down. The biggest thing, though, is we're not just moving to move with this one, okay? Make sure that weight is on that front leg. And when we kick the opposite leg back, this glute is engaged the whole time I'm coming down and through that tap, and I'm powering through that glute, that quad on the way back up, okay? The next movement we have is controlled rolls. And so with those controlled rolls, what we're focusing on here is on the way down, we're trying to make that roll as smooth as possible. We're rounding the back, smooth roll. And then we come up, pull that low back in, shoulder blades back and down, that chest is up. Try not to let those feet touch the ground. If you need to, that's okay, No big deal. And as you get tired, if you need to, you can kind of grab on if you need a little bit of help within that movement. But when you're doing that, don't lose that pelvic floor. Don't lose that core engagement. Don't lose that bracing within that movement, okay? And then the last one we have is power cycles. So we'll get down for this one. We haven't done power cycles in a while. Pretty much this is just a slow, powerful contraction bicycles. So if you've ever done like bicycle crunches, we're going to come down. We're going to pull this. So if you bring up your left knee, that right elbow is going to come up. One thing with your arm, don't actually put it behind your head because we don't want to be yanking on our head. You can just go like behind the ears or off to the side of the head. But twist that right elbow to that left knee, really contract that core. Switch, alternate. Really focus on that core activation, okay? And you can work on pressing that low back into the floor, maintaining that core engagement, okay? If you're losing that low back off the floor, it means potentially your hip flexors or other muscles are starting to take over with that movement. If you're at home and you don't have weights for these movements, for that bent over row, feel free to do that same movement, but focus on the isometric contraction and just hold that flex and that squeeze at the top. For the bicep curls and the tricep extension on both those movements, you can do them manually. So this is the bicep side. Elbow's going to stay right in line with body, palms together, and you're just going to do manual resistance, okay? And then you can switch each set or each round, however you want to do it, to the opposite side. And then for the goblet squat pulses, you can make those plyometric if you want, or you can just do pulses without weight. They're wicked brutal, so you don't. And if you're here too, you can always drop that weight also, because it's hard to maintain the weight for that movement. And then that's all of them. Any questions before we get started? All right, let's do it. I'll check. Let's see. All right, starting with those jumping jacks. Let's go. Good to see you online, Lindsay. Let's get this workout on. Remember, we're only at about 40%. We don't overly need to push it yet. If it's a lot of impact for starting, you can start here with those jumping jacks. You don't have to be full to start. I know my ankles can't handle that. Remember that bracing. Pelvic floor is up and in. That core is strong. Shoulder blades are backing down. Air squats. With those air squats, pushing those hips back and then going down like you're sitting in a small little chair back behind you. Maintain control. Don't shift that weight all the way to the heels or the toes. Keep it even and keep those glutes active throughout full range of motion. Marches. Driving that knee up. Think of using that core to drive that knee up. Puts a little bit of power into that knee lift. So, remember, we don't want a lot of side-to-side action. Stay balanced, stay controlled, just driving that knee up. Lunges, alternating. In that lunge, same thing. Knee's gonna stay in line with that toe. Weight's gonna be even on that front leg. And we're gonna keep that glute activated up the front leg. You feel a lot of tension in the knee when doing these? Try stepping backwards as opposed to forwards. Shifts that weight a little bit, changes that. Arm circles. And with arm circles, we don't want to twist the torso a lot. Keep that torso squared. Work on that range of motion in the shoulder. Reverse. And inchworms into push-ups. If you haven't done inchworms before, we're gonna bend the knees, don't round the low back, walk out into that plank, and do some warm-up push-ups. Then we're gonna walk those hips back up and high, find that stretch at the top. Jumping jacks. We're in round 2 of that warm-up. We're picking up that tempo a little bit, starting to move a little bit quicker. Remember, stay braced. Air squats. So we're still keeping that control. That formwork's moving a little bit quicker. Maybe at about 70% effort. Knee in line with that toe. Weight even on those feet. Stay braced. Keep those glutes engaged. Marches. Drive that knee up. Don't lose that core, that floor. Keep that bracing. Lunges, alternating. If you feel strong in that lunge, you can add a twist towards the knee that's in front. But it's a slow, controlled movement. We're not jerking into a twist, it's not quick. Keep that glute on. Arm circles. Full range of motion. Reverse. Inchworms into those push-ups. Remember, bend those knees, don't round that low back. Take a break. 1 minute, and we're into that workout. First round is those bent over rows, high or low, into those bicep curls. Remember, you can switch up your weight in sets too. That first round, say you do 1 set, I need more or less, switch out that weight, get a higher or lower weight. Sometimes I feel like the warm-up's harder than the workout. So you're like not in the groove yet, and it's just like, oh God. Order of most difficult. Changing my clothes is number 1. That's the hardest friggin' part. 2 is the warm-up, and then by the workout, you're like, all right, might as well go now. All right, we got 10 seconds. Find that weight you want for those bench over rows. Remember, high or low. And we're starting in 5, 3, 1. Let's go. Don't round that low back in this position. Nice shot. Pull from those elbows. Really activate those lats. Squeeze those scapula together at the top. Nice. What muscle are you working? Make sure you're flexing it on each rep and you're keeping it engaged, but you're getting that stretch. Bicep curls. Don't let those elbows move. What's getting more tired, your forearm or your bicep? Pay attention to what you're working most here. Bent over row. We're in that second set. Good job. Don't lose that bracing. Pelvic floor up and in, that core is engaged. Shoulder blades are back and down. Bicep curls. We're still staying braced here. Pay attention to those elbows. Bent over row. We're halfway through this round. Let's go. As you get tired, you can alternate sides. Bicep curls. Woo. Depends on what muscle you're using. Bent over rows. Last set, let's go. Remember, quality over quantity. Slow it down if you need. Are you just moving the weight? Or are you working that muscle? Bicep curls. More reps isn't always beneficial if you're not having a good quality movement. Take a break. Woo. 1 minute. Oh. Yeah, it's fair. You do have to hold it more than just resting. Like right here. Okay. So maybe try squeezing, like have more of a little bit of a looser grip when you pull up. Grab a weight real quick. Let's try some. Let's go and do it. Anything you feel it squeezing there? I can feel it activating. So you lift. So it's right in there. Okay. We can work on that. You can try it in or out a little bit at an angle. That can be a little bit different depending on anatomy. All right, find that weight or no weight. What do you want here? T squeezes into those tricep extensions. You don't need a lot of movement for this first weight. You don't even probably need any. With 5, 3, 2, 1, let's go. T squeeze, remember those thumbs pointing up. We're powering from the back here. The back and the back side of those shoulders. Keep those shoulder blades back and down. Don't shrug. Shoulders up to those ears. And try to get that torso parallel with the floor. Tricep. Overhead or the bent over kickbacks. Make sure you're keeping that tension in that tricep. Shoulder blades are backing down. We're braced. Engage those glutes. Pull that pelvic floor up and in. That core is engaged. Are you shifting the weight to one side? T squeezes. Work on trying to keep it even. If you're adding weight, make sure that quality is good. Scapula staying back and down. Triceps. Attention, where are you feeling that work? We're braced. That core is strong. Triceps are doing the work. T squeezes. Woo. Are you shifting your weight to one side or the other? Pay attention. Shoulder blades backing down and engaged. Pelvic floor up and in. Core is strong. Triceps. Make sure you're feeling that stretch to the tricep. Full stretch into full contraction. Doesn't matter how many you get, make them good. The triceps should be burning. T squeezes. Last set. Let's go. Don't lose that pelvic floor, that core. Where's that weight at on those feet? Are you braced? Tricep. Last one, let's go. Oh no, sweat in the eye. Exerciser's kryptonite. Stay with it. Take a break. Woo. Nelly. That's good stuff. All right, we go the goblet squat or front squat pulses, whichever you want for this one. Into those hit the floors. Make sure you clear your weights out of the way for those hit the floors. You can take up a little bit of space. In 6, we're going into those pulses. Remember, you're stopping just shy of the top, staying fully engaged, the full range of motion. If you need to lose the weight, drop the weight. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. You don't need to move quick through those pulses. We're not trying to move fast, but we want to make sure those glutes are engaged. Those quads are working, those shoulder blades are backing down, pelvic floor is up and in, core is strong. Tell you what, guys, this round's gonna suck real good. Hit the floor, which means it's gonna be awesome. Remember, feel free to move slow. It's not about speed, but make sure that muscle is working a full range of motion. You want to make sure that glute of that front leg is turned on, and don't lose that bracing. Pulses. Woo. Let's go. Hit the floor. Huh? Yeah. Hate it so good. Make that glute work. Don't lose that bracing, especially in that down position. Pulses. Let's go. Hit the floor. Woo. Remember, quality. Your form's breaking down, slow that movement. Make sure that glute's working. Weight is even. Knee in line. Pulses. Last one. Let's go. Keep those glutes. Stay with it. Hit the floor. Last one. And then we get to lay down. Oh. Keep them good. Don't lose that bracing. Oh, Nelly. Let's go. Take a break. Oh. I don't have lungs anymore. I'm on fire. Muscles and lungs. Remember, move throughout recovery. A little bit of movement. Huh? That's right. In 10 seconds I will be. You know, Matt's right. This is our last round. So you know what that means. It's our best round. We got this. Those controlled rolls. The roll, you want to make it as smooth as possible. Keep that chin tucked. Don't want to hit your head on the floor. When we come up out of that roll, pull that low back in, shoulder blades back and down, that chest up. Maintain that control. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Don't lose that bracing. Working on that spinal mobility here. And that ab and core control. Power cycles. Woo. Basically bicycle crunches, but slow with strong contractions. Try to keep that upper back, those shoulders off the ground. Controlled rolls. Woo. Remember, as you get tired, if you need to let the feet touch the ground, that's okay. If you need to grab on those knees for the roll, that's all right. But don't lose that bracing. Are you rolling more to the right every time? More to the left? Pay attention. Don't create a dominant side. Power cycles. Woo. This is where that core is starting to feel. Let's go. Try to keep those shoulder blades up off the ground. From side to middle to side. Stay braced. Rolls. Oh, Nelly. Don't lose that bracing as you get tired. Let's go. Power cycles. Woo-hoo-hoo. Let's do this. We're still braced. Remember, take rest if you need to take rest. Take breaks when you need to take breaks. Know your limits. Rolls. Oh. Anybody else's upper abs broken? Oh, okay. This is our last set, y'all. Let's go. Power cycles. Oh. Take 3, 5, 10 seconds if you need it. But then let's get into that movement. Really twist in that bicycle. Last 10, let's go. You can do 10 seconds of anything. Take a break. What? My peeps at home, nice job today. Nice work. Nice job. Nice job. Yeah. Nice job. Coming back to classes, first couple back. Those are the toughest.
I like it's better when we're wasted. It makes it easier to say lay all your laundry on the bed, and then I'll lay in it instead. I like it's better when we're wasted.
Find any black streaks on the floor, will help out facilities, wipe those up as well. We're gonna start to slow that breathing down for that stretching. If you wanna keep your mat for your stretches, feel free. And when we're slowing those breaths, starting to breathe in through the nose, and exhaling out through the mouth. Take your time getting back to slowing that breathing down. Doesn't matter how quick or long that takes, just slowing it down. And when you're ready, we're gonna start with those deep breaths in through the nose when we go up. And when we breathe in through the nose, remember, breathe into the belly, not into the traps, not into the shoulders. And when we exhale, on the way down through the mouth. Backing down, trying to stretch that rear delt, the back of the shoulder, not the back. arm back behind, grab that elbow, opposite palm goes in between those shoulder blades. Drop those hands back behind your back, interlock those fingers, shoulder blades pull back and down, and we're going to roll that head and neck and breathe. If you find a spot that's really tight, feel free to stay there. In. On that exhale, pushing those hips back, down, coming down to the full floor squat. Working on trying to get those heels down onto the ground. If that's difficult, you can have the weight forward on the hands if you need, or if you're humming, hold onto a wall or a doorway. Work on getting deeper into that squat. If you want more of an inner thigh stretch here, elbows to the inside the knees, palms together. Press those palms down. Remember, keep those shoulder blades back and down. That chest is up. You don't want to collapse through the stretch. Breathe in through the nose, into the belly, and out through the mouth. Drop down onto all fours, keeping those hips over those knees and coming down into that puppy pose. If you want, you're always able, you can bend those hands back behind the head. Give you a little increase in that stretch through the lat. Widen those knees out to the side, bring those feet together, sit down. Hips down to the heels, extend those arms out in front. We're going to walk our hands over to the left, stretching that right side body. And we're not forcing that stretch, we're just finding that edge of tension and breathing through it. Every third to fourth inhale, breathe in a little bit deeper. And when you're ready, you're going to walk it back to center, over to that opposite side. Center. Bring those knees in. We're going to come down onto the stomach, onto the mat. Hands are going to come up just underneath the shoulders here. And we're going to go ahead and press. Leave the glutes relaxed, legs relaxed, and press yourself up. Breathe into that stretch and exhale on the way down. Pay tension if you're squeezing those glutes, squeezing the legs. Just gonna do a couple press ups. Stretch out the core, those abdominals. On the next one, we're gonna rise up to a plank. We're gonna bring that right knee up underneath and that foot across, pressing those hips down into the floor. And as you can, keeping that neutral spine in the low back, we're gonna drop that chest down to the floor. Holding tension in that muscle. Breathe into it. Exhale that tension out of the body. Remember, every third to fourth breath, inhale a little deeper. Coming back up and out of that stretch. Stepping that foot back. And the opposite knee up underneath and that foot across. Try to keep those hips squared here. Don't roll the hips open. Hands into the feet. Come back to standing, and we're going to close out class. If you want to stay and continue to stretch, feel free. This was not an exhaustive stretch session, but class time is over, so we're going to close the breaths. Last inhale up and in. Nice job today, all. Nice work. If you're with us here online, don't forget to like and subscribe for updates of when classes go live so you don't have to look for them. Don't forget your homework, get a good dinner, drink lots of water, at least 6 hours of sleep, and be here Tuesday. Have a nice night.